NetherRealm Studios has released a new patch for the Nintendo Switch version of Mortal Kombat 1. The purpose of this update was to fix the desynchronization problem, but it also came with a host of bug fixes. We're gonna go into the ones that I found, but unfortunately we do not have detailed patch notes. Another thing that came with this update was the new cameo character, Khameleon. She's not available to play yet, but she is now visible in the character select screen where she was not before. And she might be the best looking waifu in the game so far. Or maybe second to Sonya.
What are you staring at? What are you doing? We've got to get a move on.
So let's start by going through some of the bugs that were present in patch 1.9 and see if they've been fixed in patch 1.10. One of the big ones was with Omni-Man's trained killer fatality. What would happen in the previous patch is that the majority of the time that you would try this fatality, it would crash the game. I tested it in patch 1.9 and it only took me until my second try before the game crashed. So we can assume that it's a pretty common bug. However, in patch 1.10, I tested this out about 10 times in a row in docked mode and in handheld mode, and it did not crash even once. So it might be safe to say that this patch finally fixed this annoying bug. Another funny bug in patch 1.9 was anytime you hit Tanya with a fatal blow, her torso and part of her hair would disappear, so she would have the Hulk Hogan haircut for the duration of the fatal blow. It looked kind of funny. Here's me doing it to a Tanya player in an online match in one of the previous patches with the side-by-side in patch 1.10 where it shows that it's fixed. I also saw in some of the comments in one of my videos that patch 1.10 fixed the Sub-Zero Order of Darkness skin that would cause the entire game to crash. I've had him running that skin in training mode for a while now and it hasn't crashed yet, so it could be safe to say that that bug has been ironed out. There was another bug in patch 1.9 with Melina, where anytime that you used the enhanced version of her roll and her back forward one, her face would disappear. But as you can see in this side by side, that too has been fixed in patch 1.10. I read some comments saying that replays were finally fixed in patch 1.10, so I decided to take a look for myself, and indeed it would appear that they have actually been fixed in this new patch. Before this patch, anytime I would try to watch one of my own replays, it would always cut out around 2 seconds into the start of the match. Whenever I would try to watch other people's replays, I might be able to watch a good amount of it, but it would always end up cutting out eventually too. But in patch 1.10, I was actually able to watch 2 of my own replays without it cutting out at all. Also, the replay that you're watching here was my Combat League down rank back to master by an extremely good Kung Lao player. I got completely destroyed by this dude. The bug that causes Sub-Zero's ice clone to be transparent is still present, even in patch 1.10. The Havoc hair bug is still present as well. I've read some comments saying that fatalities perform a bit better, but honestly I didn't notice much of a difference. They worked fine in the last patch besides Omni-Man's, which seems to have been fixed with this update, so any improvement is good, don't get me wrong, even if it's minor and not that noticeable. And the new bug I just noticed with Tanya is sometimes when she does her Divine Protection move, a weird visual artifact stays behind and flashes for a second or two. And a lot of people have asked whether the graphics have been improved with this update, and the answer to that is no. Although I have not noticed a glitch that causes the textures to not load in this patch yet, so maybe that finally got fixed, but again, that was an intermittent thing, so it could just be that it hasn't popped up yet. But beyond that, I think it would probably be a good idea for people to just settle into the way that the game looks right now. Visually, my opinion is that this is probably as good as the graphics are going to get for the Switch version. We have to keep in mind that the Nintendo Switch is a system that released in 2017. That means that it was developed with hardware from a few years before that. So we have basically 10-year-old hardware trying to run a next generation 2023 PlayStation 5 game. It's a miracle that it runs at all, but to expect the graphics to be on par with PS5 that's just next level crazy. And a lot of people point to how good Mortal Kombat 11 looks on the Switch, but to be fair, Mortal Kombat 11 was not a PS5 game, that was PS4. And it didn't have a cameo system that hogged even more resources. Don't get me wrong, it's always possible that they might find some way to improve the visuals in this version of the game, and I hope that they do, but all I'm saying with regards to that is don't get your hopes up, because it's probably not gonna happen. And finally, let's talk about the desync issue which this patch was meant to address. Well, I mean, all you gotta do is look all over Twitter. The desynchronization issue is still present, and this patch utterly failed to fix the one thing that it was meant to fix. Matches still desynchronized. Maybe a bit less than before, but a bit less is not a fix. The Khameleon cameo is gonna release tomorrow, and we're gonna be jumping into some online matches with her and Liu Kang, so stay tuned for that. In any case, I'm gonna keep bringing you more combo videos, online matches, and video game news. I'm Switchblade, done.